Which major league teams saw their minor league organizations win championships in 2023, and what can that tell us about their prospects? Let's talk about it.
You are Locked On MLB Prospects, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, welcome on in to Locked On MLB Prospects, your home for all things minor league baseball. I'm your host, Lindsay Crosby, award-winning baseball writer and podcaster. Thank you for making this your first listen every single day. We're proudly part of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every day. And today's episode is brought to you by our friends at FanDuel. Make every moment more, because right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon to get started. So this is a listener question that we turned into an entire episode. Shout out to Mark for this. He dropped it in the Locked On MLB Prospects Discord. But which minor league teams won championships in 2023? And what does that mean for their parent organizations? So we have AAA, we have AA, we have High A, Low A, and the three rookie leagues, the Florida Complex, Arizona Complex, and Dominican Summer League. And starting in AAA is the only level where you finish with one champion. Unlike the rest, which are divided into three different leagues, AAA is divided into two leagues, the International League and the Pacific Coast League. And each of those awards a champion, and then those two champions meet up for a 3-game series to determine who wins AAA. In the International League, the Norfolk Tides, affiliate of the Baltimore Orioles, beat the Durham Bulls, affiliate of the Tampa Bay Rays, to win the International League championship. They faced off with the winner of the Oklahoma City Dodgers, which is a Dodgers affiliate, and the Round Rock Express, which is the Texas Rangers. The winner of that was the Oklahoma City Dodgers, and then Norfolk and Oklahoma City met up to play one another for the AAA championship, which was won by Norfolk. We've talked on this show before. There's a couple teams that have a bunch of high-level prospects in their organization that are just crammed in there. And the Tampa Bay Rays is the team you always think about, where they're making Rule 5 decisions in AA, whereas everybody else is making Rule 5 decisions in AAA. And Durham is always a loaded team. And in fact, Durham was one of the last 4 teams left. But Norfolk, even more so than anybody else, has such a logjam of talent and ranked talent at that level that it's very difficult to figure out who's going to play at the major league level. And obviously they're going to have to make some trades because they have more than, I want to say at one point in time, they have 9 top 100 prospects in Norfolk. And this team needs pitching. We saw it in the postseason. We were yelling that since July. We yelled that at the trade deadline. We got flamed for it by Baltimore fans. We were proven to be correct. None of them came back and apologized for the rude things they said. But yeah, for Baltimore, you're definitely going to see some guys get moved for pitching, preferably controllable pitching, because the Baltimore Orioles have already made public comments. The ownership has made public comments about not really wanting to come out of pocket to extend their own guys, like an Adley Rutschman, like a Gunnar Henderson, never mind signing free agents. I believe the only money they have guaranteed for 2024 is their portion of what they owe James McCann, who was traded before the season from New York to Baltimore, with New York paying, I believe it's $8 million of his $12 million. So that's the only, literally that and the little bit they have on the Aaron Hicks deal. It's $740,000. Outside of that, every other contract on the books is either a pre-arb contract or an arbitration contract. They just don't have long-term money extended. And so, big deal here. We've got to figure that out. They do have deferred salaries paid to Chris Davis and Alex Cobb and Bobby Bonilla, but they've got to figure out which of these prospects can come up and which these prospects can be moved. When you look at the interesting one out of this group to me is Oklahoma City, because the Dodgers are in that position of they have so many of their major league spots just about filled. And Michael Busch spent the entire year, minus that little cameo he got in the bigs where he didn't do that entire time in the minors. And so hit tons of home runs, hitting prospect of the year, all that good stuff. But when you look at the overall organizational winning percentages, this is really interesting. The Dodgers have the best overall record when you combine all levels of the minors. Tampa Bay had that last year. They were first in 22, they were first in 21, they were second in 2019, and they were first in 2018. And the top of this list doesn't necessarily line up with postseason standings, but when you think about teams that are good, for the most part, that's the teams in this organizational win-loss record standings. The Dodgers, like I said, number one, I think it's a 583. The Philadelphia Phillies were second at 553. The Seattle Mariners were third, almost made the postseason. The Tampa Bay Rays in the postseason, 542. The New York Yankees, who surprisingly missed the postseason, were fifth at 539. And feels like a lot of that Double-A Somerset did a lot of work. Feels like that may have been a lot of High A Hudson Valley. Both had good seasons. Pirates at 6, the Tigers at 7, the Rockies, that's a surprising one, at 8, the Brewers at 9, the Giants at 10. There was some noticeable, the Phillies have significantly improved. Just last year, they were 20th, and they haven't been a top 10 team since 2018 as far as winning percentage in the minors. The Guardians were 7th last year. They dropped all the way to 23rd this year. The Chicago White Sox were the worst. They had the lowest winning percentage in all of the minors. And the second and third worst teams, individual teams in the minors, was Charlotte, 51-93, and Birmingham at 51-87. Winning percentage-wise, they had the two of the three worst teams in the minors. And run differential, AAA Charlotte was at minus 297. So they got absolutely whacked. Meanwhile, the best winning percentage in the minors, the best record, was High A Cedar Rapids. That is the Colonels. That is an affiliate of the Twins. They were 82-50 for a 621 winning percentage. And then the best run differential was Double-A Somerset for the Yankees. But in just a minute, I want to go over Double-A and the three leagues, the three winners, and what we can learn from them with some particular attention maybe on Tennessee. We'll do that next right here on Locked On MLB Prospects. But first, today's episode is brought to you by our friends at FanDuel. October baseball is back, and that means you can make your postseason debut with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Join FanDuel today, and you'll get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. Just visit FanDuel.com/lockedon to create your new account, and you can get in on the action from the first pitch until the final out. You can bet on everything from strikeouts, home runs, who's going to win the game, and if you don't want to sit and watch the entire game, some of these games do start later in the postseason, you can just predict what's going to happen in the next at-bat with a quick bet. So, head on over to FanDuel.com/lockedon right now. Step up to the plate this postseason with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed, and make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball. Okay, so looking at Double-A, this is the really interesting one as far as I feel like this is the one that was least chalk from what you would expect based on the winning percentages that we talked about for organizations as a whole. Split into three leagues, and geography nerds are going to enjoy this. The three leagues are the Eastern League, the Southern League, and the Texas League. The Eastern League, what the final two teams was the Binghamton Rumble Ponies, which is an affiliate of the New York Mets, versus the Erie Seawolves, affiliate of the Tigers. Erie won that matchup. Erie won the Eastern League Championship. And you'll remember we've talked recently about the Tigers' hitting development getting significantly better. We haven't seen those guys in the majors yet, but we've seen them be able to produce quality hitters, quality hitting prospects in the minors. And so the Erie Seawolves, that's another example of a team that made it into the postseason on the strength of their hitting, as well as getting some good performances on the mound, and were able to go out there and win a championship. For the Texas League, it was the Arkansas Travelers, which is affiliate of the Seattle Mariners, versus the Amarillo Sod Poodles, AA affiliate of the Arizona Diamondbacks. The Sod Poodles beat the Travelers, and I think AA Tulsa, which is Dodgers, and AA Arkansas, the Travelers, I think those two teams were probably in the running for best minor league rotation. And a lot of those Tulsa guys for the Dodgers ended up coming up and helping the Dodgers in the major leagues this year because they needed so much pitching. But just Arkansas got good offensive performances and got really good pitching. And then Amarillo, a lot of quality players early in the year. They had Ryan Bliss there who was doing really well. He bumped up to AAA and ultimately got traded to Seattle. So he may be the only person that played for both of those organizations in the minors this year, and they faced off for the championship. But I want to talk about the AA Southern League real quick. And that's not just because I'm here in the AA Southern League and that's where I sit, and that's what I watch a lot of, but also because Mark, who suggested this show, specifically asked about that because he is a Cubs fan. And the Tennessee Smokies, so Cubs affiliate, beat the Pensacola Blue Wahoos, affiliate of the Marlins. Marlins, another team we didn't mention in that top for organizational winning percentage, but the AA team was pretty good. And the big thing here, when you look at the Tennessee Smokies, one, it was their first outright championship since 1978. So 45 years. They weren't even called the Tennessee Smokies when they won it. They were the Knoxville Sox when they won it 45 years ago in 1978. They did share the 2004 championship with the Mobile Bay Bears because that series wasn't actually played. Hurricane Ivan disrupted the scheduling, so they never actually played the championship series, and those two teams split the championship. So first outright championship for Tennessee since 1978. But when you look at what they did, yes, there was some really good offensive performances. Owen Casey, who spent all year there, we talked about him having some of the best power in the minors. He hit 22 home runs, led that team in home runs, batted .289, .398, .519. We've talked about him recently, but they got BJ Murray playing third base. He chipped in 16 home runs and a .263 batting average over 124 games. Hayden McGreary played a lot of first base, 16 home runs, .255 batting average. He drove in 75. Catcher Pablo Aliendo started 91 games, had 16 home runs, only batted .231, but still a big part of that team. So they got good performances offensively. Pete Crow Armstrong was there, batted .289, .371, .527 with 14 homers and 38 extra base hits before he was promoted to AAA and ultimately up to the bigs. But the reason why the AA Tennessee Smokies championship matters is because of the pitching. And I went on Locked On Cubs before this minor league season, and I told them you need to be watching what happens with the Smokies because the rotation down there is going to be very important to the future of the Cubs. And when you look at what happened from a pitching perspective, they got full seasons, full healthy seasons with not amazing, but good ERAs under 4, good production from Jordan Wicks. Jordan Wicks gave them 60 innings. DJ Hers was out there pitching a full season. I want to say DJ Hers pitched something. He started like 14 games for them. Same thing. And then they also had some smaller but very good contributions from pitchers like Ben Brown, and Cade Horton started 6 games, including the clinching championship game, with a 1.33 ERA, struck out 31 batters in 27 innings. Ben Brown started 4 games at the end of the season, struck out 30 in his 20 innings, and allowed 1 earned run on a solo shot, so .45 ERA. And so being able to see all of the contributions that they got, and not even just starters. Bailey Horn converted from starting to relieving and had a 2 ERA on the year in Double-A Tennessee while he was there. Like, being able to see all of the pitching contributions, getting closer to full seasons from guys like a DJ Hers and a Jordan Wicks, and then getting such like elite level performances from a Cade Horton, from a Ben Brown, things like that. That's significantly going to matter for the Chicago Cubs major league roster. These are the guys that are going to come up and be the core of the next good Chicago Cubs rotation. And the question now really ends up being, how soon do you see them and how good can they be? I think Cade Horton has the potential to be a number one. He showed he was that good, especially when he got to the postseason there in Double-A. And Ben Brown, a guy who's been up a little bit, didn't necessarily have the results you wanted the results you wanted in the majors, but Ben Brown's been up. Cole Franklin was up a little bit. You know, now you've seen Cade Horton in Double-A. You can easily see where there's multiple legitimate rotation arms coming through the minors, the upper minors, and will be in Chicago soon. We don't have a ton of in-depth diving to do, but I do want to mention the 3 rookie leagues and who won these. The Dominican Summer League, the Dodgers won over the Pirates. We know the Dodgers and the Pirates are both really good at signing international free agents, so that makes sense that they would be in that. The Arizona Complex League was Brewers over Diamondbacks, and the Florida Complex League was Braves over Yankees. And I think the Braves one deserves a little bit of special mention, and I don't say that because I'm a Braves fan. I say that because the Braves minor league organization has not been very good for a while. They were 26th in winning percentage this year with a .467, and a significant portion of that, not all of it, but because there's been other things as well, but a significant portion of that has been because Atlanta suffered so much as far as restrictions from free agent signings because of what John Capella did with gaming the system and trying to get an illegal advantage with international free agents. And so them being locked out of the IFA market for years, combined with sending prospects out via trades, meant that the Atlanta Braves have not had a good minor league system for a while. They're one of the few teams, unlike a Dodgers, unlike a Orioles, a Tampa Bay, or whatever, that their success at the major league level has come at the cost, at the expense of the minor leagues, because they weren't able to refill the system. But them winning the Florida Complex League crown shows that their draft acquisitions, shows that as they've been able to get back into the international free agent market and these guys have started to make it stateside, that they have acquired and impact players who can legitimately project out to be contributing major leaguers in the future, and they're starting to replenish this, what was a number 29 or 30 ranked system, to get back into at least an average quality of skill and depth when it comes to the minor league system. In just a minute, I've got both high A and low A, 6 championships. We'll go over those. We'll do that next right here on Locked On MLB Prospects. But first, today's episode is brought to you by our friends at Game Time. When I walked into my home office this morning, it was 45 degrees outside. Ridiculous. No bueno. Not a fan. No thank you. It was like 65 or 66 in my office. And so I swapped my Bird Dog shorts for Bird Dog's pants. So they're made of this anti-stink sweat wicking fabric. Keeps you dry, it breathes, so you don't have to worry about if you have a space heater on, if you sweat, it's gonna cover it. But it's gonna be flexible, it's gonna be soft, you can walk around, you can cover up whatever you have to do. It fits fantastic, it looks fantastic, you can wear them anywhere you go. I can wear the joggers from here in my office, run up to the grocery store, I can run to the pharmacy, I can run to go meet somebody on the driving range or for a drink. Never have to change. It's fantastic. They're functional for any occasion. So go to birddogs.com/LockedOnMLB or enter promo code LockedOnMLB at checkout for a free Bird Dogs water bottle with your order. That's birddogs.com/LockedOnMLB for a free water bottle at checkout. You will not want to take your Bird Dogs off. Okay, so wrapping up the show with the lower minors, high A and low A, the leagues and the championships. Geography nerds, get ready for this again. Your 3 leagues in high A. You have the South Atlantic League, you have the Midwest League, you have the Northwest League. That, at least geography-wise, makes sense. You've got these 3 spread out across the country in seemingly even distributions. For the South Atlantic League, the Greenville Drive, it's the Boston Red Sox, they won the championship over the Hudson Valley Renegades, high A affiliate of the New York Yankees. And so, for the Greenville Drive, they got some very good contributions. Maybe not full season, but very good contributions. Roman Anthony was here, delivered great power production. On the pitching standpoint, Winkelman Gonzalez led the team in wins with 6. I think he tied Nate Tellier with 6. Angel Bastardo had 139 strikeouts. And then even some of the later drafted guys that you would think could potentially just be organizational guys did really well. Tyler Miller, infielder, had a 263 average, best average on the team. But Edison Polina, the shortstop, 68 runs, led the team. Also led the team in RBIs with 58. You can see there's guys that could potentially be studs, both pitching and position player there in Greenville. You go to the Midwest League. The Cedar Rapids Colonels, who we mentioned earlier, affiliate of the Minnesota Twins, had the best winning percentage in all of the minors this last year, beat the Great Lakes Loons, which, spoiler alert, another Dodgers affiliate, beat the Great Lakes Loons for the Midwest League Championship. We've talked about a couple of these guys with Cedar Rapids before. We talked about Manuel Rodriguez and how he didn't want to swing the bat. Spoiler alert, he finally started swinging the bat. And really good victory championship for them. The Northwest League, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think this is the only non-United States-based minor league team, but the Vancouver Canadians, affiliate of the Blue Jays, beat the Everett Aqua Sox, affiliate of the Mariners, for the Northwest League Championship. Adam Macko, left-handed pitcher, started 20 games, had 106 strikeouts in 86 innings. To my knowledge, I think he's the only minor league player born in Slovakia, and again, now also plays in Canada, so still not in the U.S., but very much something where for Vancouver, they got good contributions from both rated prospects. Spencer Horwitz batted .290 with 65 runs, playing a lot of first base, but also younger players. Luis De Los Santos hit 12 home runs, had 65 RBIs, and just a very good contribution there. Though you don't expect a ton of home runs in high A, same thing in single A, but very well-rounded both hitting and pitching-wise for the Vancouver Canadians. When you get to single A, and again, geography friends, be excited here. You've got Florida State League, you've got Carolina League, you've got California League, just jumps over the middle of the country there. The Florida State League, the Jupiter Hammerheads, affiliate of the Tampa Bay, of the Miami Marlins, beat the Clearwater Threshers, affiliate of the Phillies. So a in-division matchup there in the Florida State League. And we also love the Florida State League because we get StatCast data from the Florida State League, so that's always great. The Carolina League, the Charleston River Dogs, affiliate of the Tampa Bay Rays, defeated the Down East Wood Ducks, affiliate of the Rangers. Second time the Rangers were on here, second time the Rays were on here. And then in the California League, the Modesto Nuts, favorite of the show, we did a whole segment about the end of their season. The Modesto Nuts for the Mariners beat the Rancho Cucamonga Quakes, which is an affiliate of, spoiler alert, the Dodgers again. And the Dodgers at almost every single level of the minors, except for AA, competed for a championship. They competed for the championship in, not only, they won the Pacific Coast League and competed in AAA. They almost made it in AA. That was Tulsa. And then they competed for it in the High A with the Great Lakes Loons in the Midwest League and in the California League with the Rancho Cucamonga Quakes. You see why the Dodgers had the best winning percentage in all of the minors, because just about all of their teams were championship caliber teams, although they only won, I guess technically they won 2 because they also won the Dominican Summer League Championship. So they won 2 of the 4 out of the 5 potential championships they could have played for. That Modesto Nuts team went on an absolute tear. They averaged more than 10 runs per game in the postseason. Just absolutely absurd. Something that you don't see. And they didn't lose. I want to say the last month of the season, Modesto didn't lose at all. And it's just a combination of so many very good draft picks as well as younger players that came up from the minors. And so when you pull the schedule, Modesto last lost a game on August 19th. They lost 10-6 to Fresno at home. After that, they won the Sunday matchup. They swept a series against San Jose on the road at San Jose. They swept a series against the Inland Empire at home. They went back to Fresno, swept the series there, played San Jose in the postseason, won that, played Rancho Cucamonga in the postseason, won that. And it's just one of the more dominant stretches for a minor league team that I can remember seeing was the Modesto Nuts. You can, the lower levels, you can see the Mariners are absolutely stacked, right? Both their single A and their high A affiliates made the championship, and single A won it. You can see when you get to the upper minors, there's a couple teams that are in the Mariners were also in the double A one as well. So they were in 3 of the 4. And so that tells you that, one, they probably have a younger team at the major league level because they moved some talent up there recently. And in this case, a lot of those arms, Julio Rodriguez. But then also, that tells you they have a lot of reinforcements coming from the minor leagues if they can just, all they have to do is develop them and get them to the bigs. So you have to feel good about the trajectory of that farm system, where they would be on the organizational talent rankings, which we haven't done in a while. Maybe we should do that next week, as well as the future for not only the minor league organization and the team that's nearest to where you are, but the major league club as well. Fantastic week this week. 2 more shows coming up. In the meantime, if you have questions for Monday's mailbag, show ideas. This came from a listener. It was a show idea from Mark. Shout out to Mark. Tons of ways to get them to us. I'm on Twitter at Crosby Baseball. Show's on Twitter at Locked On Farm. We have a Discord. We have email. We have subtext. Lots of ways to get those in. In the meantime, enjoy watching postseason games. And remember, it's always a great time to pay a minor leaguer.